Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Now, Fabrizio Romano has just confirmed two huge updates around Arsenal. One of them being that Arsenal are working tooth and nail. We are really ramping up our efforts to sign Bukayo Saka on a new contract, with more and more stories saying Manchester City have identified him as a replacement to Raheem Sterling. He has also said that Arsenal are working to sign a new winger after finishing Bukayo Saka's contract. Arsenal will sign a new winger on the coming days or in the coming weeks. We'll talk about Leroy Sané, linked with Arsenal, a player that I really loved right from Schalke 04, then signing for Manchester City, then signing for Bayern, now linked with Arsenal and Real Madrid. He's available on the market this summer. Should Arsenal sign him? We're going to be talking about that. And also, Houssem Aouar is available. This summer, he's available on the market. I want to ask you people, is it in you that Arsenal should try and get Houssem Aouar? Again, one more chance. Should we give it one more chance? Should we give it one more try and try to get Houssem Aouar? He's a player that we all loved way back in 2019, 2020, when Lyon were in the UEFA Champions League, and many Arsenal fans really liked him, and I still like him. Although we are linked with Lucas Paqueta and Yuri Tielemans, I still love Houssem Aouar as well. But tell me, would you love Houssem Aouar? Probably Arsenal to give it one more try. I think this time it could be easier. He's linked with Benfica and Real Betis as well. We're going to be discussing and diving into all that. Now, hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 800 likes. You people have been very, very supportive, and I'm really grateful. And also hit the like button, the subscribe button after hitting that like button. Just a few seconds. Doesn't cost you anything, really. It doesn't. Now, let's start off with that Fabrizio Romano and the huge updates he's placed onto the table. Let's start off with the Bukayo Saka's contract. So according to my man there, Fabrizio Romano, he has said Bukayo Saka's contract extension has always been a priority for Arsenal. Talks are still ongoing with his agent in order to reach a full agreement on a long-term deal. Saka is happy with the Arsenal project, discussing on salary details at the moment. Now, more on this, not from Fabrizio Romano, but from a couple of sources. It is indicated that Manchester City are one of the clubs that have identified Bukayo Saka as their next transfer target, and Pep Guardiola sees the player as a replacement to Raheem Sterling, who has left Manchester City to join Chelsea on a £45 million deal for 5 years. Now, listen to this, lads. The truth here, lads, is Fabrizio Romano has been giving us all these kinds of confidence tablets, and I think we are very, very confident right about now. But anything could happen with the Bukayo Saka deal. Remember, in January, he was linked with Liverpool, and a couple of sources came out, including, I think, Klopp came out and said, look, we do not have interest in Bukayo Saka. Liverpool's interest was in Gabriel Martinelli, and I think we should actually work to close that guy's contract as soon as possible. Because when you look at Liverpool and what they're trying to do in the market, they've tried to sign Anthony from Ajax. I think they're looking at around 65 to 70 million euros in that deal. So if Liverpool cannot close the Anthony deal from Ajax, I won't be very surprised if they come knocking onto the door and trying to convince Gabriel Martinelli to join them, because we know he's a top talent and a world-class player. But speaking about Bukayo Saka, and I feel like why I'm saying anything can happen, there are not so many players that are going to turn down the champions of the Premier League for what, 5 times now, 6 times Manchester City. There are not so many clubs that are really going to turn down Manchester City under Pep Guardiola. And also, if you think about the amount of money they can offer him, yes, it is being rumored that he's going to become one of the most paid, highest earning players at Arsenal. But that is still speculative. We do not know if City are going to offer him a bigger salary or a higher salary. And also in terms of development, UEFA Champions League football, and things like that. They could put on paper, they could put on table a more lucrative deal than Arsenal. But one thing we have to be very, very confident about is that the player has been convinced that this is his project. He's a very, very vital part of the project. And although Arsenal are looking to sign a new winger, they're looking to sign new midfielders, new attackers, Bukayo Saka's position in the Arsenal team will be untouched. Of course, there is a minimum number of, English players that have to be playing in your squad and getting those minutes. So I think Saka, that is one of the things that are actually backing up. I think Saka and Ramsdale, those are things that are backing them up, because if you look at that Arsenal side, right from the defense into the attack, you might find yourselves that if Ben White is replaced by William Saliba, in the midfield there is no English player that is going to be playing for us, and then Emile Smith-Rowe might not get ahead of Gabriel Martinelli. So Saka's position in the Arsenal side is guaranteed and also untouched. Contract negotiations are ongoing. Arsenal want to close this as soon as possible because they do not want to attract interest from bigger clubs and cause problems. I think that is a very, very smart move from Arsenal. Now, moving on to Fabrizio Romano's second story this evening is about Arsenal signing a new winger in the coming days or even in the coming weeks. Arsenal is working very, very close to make sure that their transfer window ends in a very, very strong position. At what I know and what I understand at the moment is that Leroy Sané is the last name to be mentioned among wingers, among attackers linked with Arsenal. Why am I laughing and why are you laughing as well? So Leroy Sané, his market value, according to the transfer market website, at the moment is 80 million euros. He did make that switch from Schalke 04 to Manchester City. It was around 51 million euros. Then moving from Manchester City to Bayern, it was around 75 million euros. So I think Bayern have put him up for sale. They've offered him to Real Madrid. I'm very, very surprised Bayern would actually do that. But I'm not very, very surprised because Leroy Sané, Sadio Mane, Serge Gnabry is now staying at Bayern, and you also have the likes of Kingsley Coman staying at Bayern. So I'm not very, very surprised that one of those players up front is actually going to be leaving. Now, Madrid have told Bayern Munich that at the moment their interest and their thoughts and everything they're working on is outgoing. So they are not very much interested. And it's also thought that Madrid might not actually sign in another player. It happened with the Serge Gnabry, speculation. They said we are not even going to react to that. We are not interested. We are looking at Aurelien Tchouameni as one of our huge signings this summer, and we're trying to work on our wage bills and work on our wage situation. We're trying to push out as much deadwood as we can. So Madrid rejecting any possibility of signing a player from Bayern in the caliber of Leroy Sané. I'm excited. But listen, Arsenal have inquired about the player, but there is nothing consolidated in it. So it could not, for me, it doesn't even qualify to be a substantial rumor. But Leroy Sané, 70 million euros. Arsenal looking for a left winger this summer. Of course, Nicolas Pepe leaving means Arsenal can add another attacker onto their forward line. Leroy Sané is the player I would love to see Arsenal signing. 26 years of age. His contract runs down in 2025. It explains why Bayern can reluctantly ask in excess of 70 million euros. But I think Arsenal can negotiate their way around that and get the player in the region of 60 million euros. Now, we understand from Ben Jacobs we understand that Arsenal have always had that 60 million euros to spend on an extra attacker this summer. Although Rafinha, although we didn't beat that 60 million euros for Rafinha, the feeling was that Leeds United were using Arsenal to attract a bidding war. Arsenal never wanted anything like that and never wanted to be part of all that, scuffle and scandal. And we walked away just like we did with Lisandro Martinez. So right now, Fabrizio says we are interested in a new winger. We do not know the name of the new winger, and we have zero information about the progress of the deal. At the moment, Arsenal working on that deal, but we have zero progress on it. So I do not know who the name is going to be. Leroy Sané mentioned, like I say, the circumstances around that deal. There have been people saying that he doesn't want to extend a new deal. extend with Bayern. It's absolutely ridiculous. His contract runs down in 2025, and we are only in 2022. So, although Bayern would love to extend his deal, and be 100% sure, I'm not really thinking they're under that pressure that they would either extend his contract or sell. I don't think that is where they are. And also, I don't think the player would refuse to sign up with Bayern, given the fact that if you think about the contract and his importance in that Bayern Munich side, he's been playing a lot of game time. So I don't think there is anything in the way of him signing a new contract at Bayern and not signing. So I think Bayern just want to offload him because they have so many players up front, and that is something very that is something very understandable. But the other story I also want to talk about today in this episode is around I've just forgotten the other story I want to talk about. It's Nicola Pepe. Nicola Pepe is very close to going to Sevilla. It's very close to going to Sevilla, but of course we're still looking at the price and the add-ons that Sevilla would be willing to provide. Will be willing to provide. 15 million euros is what we are looking at the moment. Is what Sevilla want to provide Arsenal with. I'm not sure Arsenal will ask for that, but let's wait and see. All right, let's wait and see. Now, Charles West has also said that Lucas Paqueta is ahead of Yuri Tillemans in the list, in the Arsenal list of central midfielders, and he says that we are expecting a bid for the Brazilian very, very soon. Now, that comes in. That comes in after sometime after we understood that The Athletic had reported this morning that Lucas Paqueta was not a priority and a point of focus. The Gunnar Block had also said the player is not a point of focus and not a priority for Arsenal. Saying he's moved ahead of Yuri Tillemans doesn't mean Arsenal will sign him. It only means that Arsenal are more interested in the player, and the deal is more progressing than that of Yuri Tillemans. But I've told you time in, time out, Yuri Tillemans is a player that Arsenal have considered a priority. Charles West himself has said that the player's deal has happened since January, and Arsenal are working in top secrecy. So we cannot 100% say Yuri Tillemans deal is off. The player sold his house in Leicester. So we do not know why all these those events are eventually happening. I also want to talk about Houssem Aouar. Houssem Aouar is leaving Lyon this summer. Benfica and Real Betis are interested, but Real Betis seems to be the club that is much more interested in the player. Now, that is where I asked you, do you feel Arsenal should sign Houssem Aouar? Do you feel this is a deal Arsenal should try to do this summer? In my opinion, absolutely. It's gonna go for a bargain. It's not going to. I don't think Real Betis will sign him in excess of 30 million euros. They'll be paying below 30 million euros. And honestly, get it done. Just get it done. I'll be back with another upload for regarding Zinchenko, and we'll talk about Leroy Sané and Zinchenko as well, and Leroy Sané as well. So much to discuss around Arsenal and the transfer market. Of course, on Sunday we are having our preseason game. The build up is upcoming very, very soon.